I am on the other course today, day 2 of the Summer Gold Cup 2024. That's the C2 fleet. These kids are bucking the current. That's not a hole in the middle, that's just current swirl. So they're bucking the current. What we're about to see is not going to be as pretty as yesterday's video. This is the Learn to Race fleet. And a lot of these kids have been racing for 6 months, but some have been racing 6 days. Oh, it's going to be a general recall in the C3 fleet.
8306, 8306, red boat.
Declan, look at Declan.
9487, 9487.
He probably should have heard the word red boat. It is okay for them to call. They can identify you. At the world level, they can't. At this level, if they say red boat and you're the only red boat in the area, somebody might think they could protest on that or something, maybe at nationals, but really no, in all fairness, if he definitely was over. There was more than 2 boats over, I think, but that's okay. Race committees, they do the best they can there. We'd be here all day if we had to call everything, every general recall. Nice job, Declan. We have 9162. And she knows the right side. We got Poppy 10022, so Buddy's right there. They probably did, when we did buddy checks this morning, they probably were buddy checked each other. It's had a lot of information this morning. They're sailing 8-foot boats with 13 by about 13, maybe 12. If they're really light, maybe 12 inches by 6 inches of rudder in the water. See, there's not much in there. And the leeboard is quite inefficient, especially on starboard tack. On port tack, the Maple Sabot actually kind of climbs to windward. Starboard tack, we're always in a state of stall. Oh, Declan's just killing it over there. 9321 is in first. Declan's gonna duck them. Yesterday, that right side of the course was better. Today, it's further right. Okay, here's Madeline. C2, doing pretty well. She did get called over early. I think sometimes if our bang is a little bit tight on a Sabot or on a sailboat, it's really hard to completely stop when you need to in the pre-start. That's what I think happened to her. She was trying to slow down, but the leech of her sail was still catching wind. Anyway, race 1, C2, C3 fleets. We're just off Lido Island, Newport. Race 1 on Sunday, 9162. It's kind of sweet. One of the sweetest things about the Naples Sabot is that I've known at least 4 people this was their boat when they were a kid. And the latest one's Wyatt Kelly, one of our mentors in the 29er fleet, you know, sophomore, gonna be a junior in high school, who like sails with everybody, helps everybody all the time. If somebody needs a crew, he'll jump in with them. And anyway, that was Wyatt's boat. Now it's Declan. Look at her go. The key to sailing is climbing up towards the windward mark. We call it squeezing. And then when the sail starts to feather a little or it starts to luff, we go, we barely go down from there. Declan here, she's just telltales of flying. There's Poppy 10022. She needs to not fight the, see how she's really moving the rudder? She's doing everything right, but 10022, but she's just doing it a little too aggressively. Good, here they go around race 1, C3 fleet. Poppy here in 3rd, Declan coming around in 4th. In a Sabot, you have to sit under the boom more in lighter wind, upwind. You got to make sure you sit forward. You do not want to be up on the thwart, but you want to be right behind the thwart, tucked up underneath there. So those are kind of tropical moisture clouds, very stagnant clouds. We'll probably see a good puff at some point, but today will be brutal on the kids as the current starts going from our right to left heavily. That guy was singing to himself. That is just classic. We coached him before. He's singing to himself. That's Poppy. So we're looking at the C3 fleet. Race 2 on Sunday, C2 fleet. Brendan Cerdes. kind of won the boat. His sail started to luff a little. See how that's death in a Sabot. That gets the VMG. So that's the hard part about the sport we're teaching. He is a solid, fairly new 8-year-old. He's not a solid 8-year-old yet. And he just won the boat end. So it's a lot to ask, but on a Naples Sabot, if you luff the sail for 3 seconds more than feathering, in anything under about 11 knots, then you are gonna lose your speed. And therefore you're gonna lose flow over the boards, you're gonna have less wind because you're going slower, and you have less flow over the boards, so it's a punishing boat. You learn in these boats how to fly right on the edge of the wind, but not too high. Here's Madeline right here. She had a massive comeback. She might have gotten the top 5 after starting over early. She is footing a little too much. She's got that tiller a little too strapped under her elbow. She needs to relax her arm and not grip so tight. Let the boat kind of climb. You sail right on the edge. She's just footing a little much. Again, the margin of error is just tiny. C2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Braxton over there was winning going into the day. I still think he's doing really well. Maybe winning still. He's in 5th. C3's is a little ugly. A bunch of boats on port tack at the end here. Wow.
All clear.
Look at Declan, 9162. I don't know if you watched the start for the last race. This is race 7 for the regatta or something. This is Sunday. And look at Declan, she did that exact start. There's Riley right next to her. Again, if they just looked at their sail and just pressed a little, like they just filled their sail just a tiny bit more. And then Poppy kind of got in a pickle right there. So that's all right, she'll come back. 10022, she'll come back. Look at Declan just sailing away. Riley right behind her. That's awesome. Lido Island Yacht Club. Dock is very quiet, it seems like. That's super important. The suggestion is to bring some lollipops along. And when you feel like coaching, pop one in your mouth. What do we got? We got Declan rounding first. Look at that. Kids get a lot of info. We really try to keep the whiteboard talks here to 15 minutes. Try to rally the kids, take the pressure off them somehow. And then they come out here and they do stuff like that. I mean, that is a nice big C3 fleet. She's been racing for 4 months probably. Maybe a little less. She's won a race before. Okay, I'm looking for 10022. Here's Poppy. She's gonna sail right around this pack. So I figure Poppy's in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, somewhere around 14, 15 inches. I bet you she's 8th by the leeward mark. And now I'm looking for Riley, 9334. So Riley's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can't see her right now. She's over there, right over in that one right there, outside of that boat. Definitely sitting forward. Need to sit forward. In a Sabot, upwind and downwind, sit forward so you don't drag your stern. But downwind especially because it tips the mast, it rakes the mast further forward. Which any little bit we can rake it further forward is fast. So again, the clouds, those tropical moisture clouds indicate stagnation. There's still a chance we'll have kids on the rail solidly and some kids getting stuck here, and we might see 10 knots at some point. The best time to sail today is going to be at 4, 5, 6 o'clock. If you live in Newport, you know what I mean. The best time to sail in Newport is almost always in the spring and the summer. It's late afternoon, early evening. It's just pristine in here. This is Braxton right here, C2 fleet. And look at him, he's down low. Look at his head, and look at his head. Look at him looking at the water. This is C2, man. I mean, this is really good. And he likes the right. He learned yesterday. Anyway, look at that. That's perfection right there, man. I should be sending that video to everybody. Look at him, just calmly steering to his telltales. There's Brendan over there in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Braxton's probably in 6th. Could be better if we get a puff. Big time puffs roll down through here in days. Yeah, he's got more wind than everybody. Look at that guy. 8550 is headed on port. So Braxton's gonna come out of here. He's gonna come out of here and it's gonna be golden. It's really golden. actually think Braxton's in second. 103.93 red boat. These guys are on horrible pork tack headers, and he has just kept his main right at its sweet spot, and he's just relaxed, and he's just okay. So he looks like he, oh, 2 boats have already finished. Okay, so he's 5th, maybe 4th. Cool. Okay, so now we watch the C3s coming up, and this guy, I think this is a C2 right here, I'm not sure. He doesn't look like he's going to the finish line over here. Here's the finish line, and here comes the C3s. Got Declan right here on starboard tack coming right at us. She's in 3rd. You can barely see her head over the rail. If you look at a lot of people, they're sitting too far to windward, and so the boat is heeling to windward. 3 for the C3. Usually my videos, I only get the A through C1, and watching the C3s can be a little hard. It's good for parents to watch to see how hard this is. Like my idea is any non-sailing parents that are coaching, I want to have them enter a Sabot regatta. I want to run a regatta for them. This is, oh, Taco. Madeline's in 2nd, no, 3rd. The C2s are going downwind. See, the blue boat's 1st, 2nd. Here's Madeline in 3rd, 4th, and so that was good. She was on the what happened that race was that the pin end was favored by a mile for race 3, C2 fleet. Here's C3 fleet, and Brendan did well. Oh, that's C2 fleet. I'm sorry, this is C2. All of our kids doing well here. Okay, and then C3s. Pin favored is often really hard for a C3 fleet, but I think these kids have all gotten better. I think the coaches have coached them up a little, all got better. On, there we go. So anybody who gets on port tack fastest is going to do the best. This guy's going to win right here. And these kids don't know this. This is the learn to race fleet. This kid is go, 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 go. Coronado kid. There's Riley, 9334, hiking out, sitting on the rail. We could still see a puff where everybody's on the rail. This is the windiest part of the day so far. Look at that guy. Just nailed it. Most of these kids can totally sail as soon as there's wind. When it was drifter before, you cannot believe how hard these little boats are to get. That's why we get a lot of our parents in learn to sail Sabot classes at San Diego Yacht Club. We've gotten a lot of people so that they gain a respect for how difficult what we're doing in this little boat is. And ultimately, learning how to get flow over the leadboard, if they can do it in this little thing, they are going to be good in any boat, especially skiffs. Declan didn't have as good a start this time. She tried to start at the boat. She's had 2 unbelievable starts, really good. But this time the pin end was favored. So her boat end start did not work at all. But she's through there, 9162, sitting on the rail, just feathering perfectly. And that's a pretty good C3 fleet. And then C2 is coming upwind. They're going to be finishing. Here's Braxton taking the lead in the C2 fleet. Again, you see how Braxton's got his head down low, low center of gravity, sitting forward. His mast rake looks perfect. 8173 looks like their mast rake is more than I would like to see. Almost to the point where his mast pin may have come out. Nice tack by Braxton, slow. I better get out of here. Finish line is at to the right of the windward mark. Braxton winning pretty easily. He did move too far back though. I see a big gap there. Madeline here in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 0. Her comeback ability is really good. She's struggling at, I want to see their bows at 30 seconds a little bit. Like when I'm upwind of the line, I want to see their bows a little bit at 30 seconds maybe. And I didn't see it that time, no problem. There's Brendan, looking okay. Needs to sit forward, doing a little wheelie. There we go. Oh yeah, A through C1s are down there. I'm sure it was a tough day down there. Tropical clouds down there, more tropical moisture kind of clouds. You see the gaps between them. but over the tops of the hills, you're starting to see the cumulus clouds. So that's why I suspect we're gonna see 9 knots here. I'm guessing it's 130 right now. So I bet you by 2:30, we'll have kids solidly on the rail. Clouds, a little bit more wind than, it's about the same in since the last video. Everything about the start, the pin is really favored. So everything about the start is being down the line. So I think the C3 start's gonna be not good. But here's Braxton again in about 1, 2, 3, you know, top 4. He won the last race. So 103.93 is just really sailing good. On the rail in the puffs, really killing it. For a C2, he's killing it. See how he looks to the other side? I think he's just, we're gonna wait. But the whole thing is C3s are in trouble if they're down here. These guys are in deep trouble. See how far off the line they're already? It's because the current is very strong. So a lot of forecasts had the wind going right. My forecast had the wind going left around 2:30, and it did. So I got lucky today. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Braxton, 6, 7, 8 for. So Madeline's gonna move up today for sure. She's had a good, solid top 10 finishes. So depending on her throwout, we'll see how it goes. It's very dangerous, C3s. This is C3 fleet. Very dangerous to be on port tack at this point. Here comes Poppy on starboard. There's Declan on starboard. There's Poppy 10022 just zigzagging through. Nice Poppy, nice start. That was just outstanding. If she has enough speed, she'll be able to squeeze that guy off. I'm looking for Riley. Oh, here she is. There she goes. Come to C3s. Got one. Well, 9299 didn't round the offset mark, so that's a bummer. Again, this is the C3 Learn to Race fleet, so that's a little bummer for that guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Poppy's in about 8 with 10022, doing a good job. If they were really oh, there's Declan right there in about 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So she's had a pretty good day compared to yesterday. Everybody likes the more wind. Now these kids would not know this, but you could probably jibe earlier than your competitors on port tack to get to the inside, but also because the current is going, you know, 0.6 knots, a little more than a half knot. To finish race 3 on Sunday, Braxton is on port here with the finish line between the flag, and he's gonna try, oh, this was a good move. He might get second because of that. She's gonna roll him though. Oh, he is gonna get second. Came out of his tack a little high, no problem. You can't complain, he had a first the last race. Oh no, it's a... I'm confused. Oh no, they are riding the finishes. This is the finish line. So he just came out of his first tack a little bit too high. Here's the finish line for the A through C1s. And you can see the start line is way down there, and I'm only gonna do one video. It's going to be a current video, but look at this leg. This is great for them. I don't know if they're loving this, but this is great for them. You get really good at long focus, staying in the bubble the whole race. Okay, I threw the current stick in 6 seconds, 7, 8, 10 seconds ago. Okay, wow. It's not quite going as fast as I thought. 20 seconds. 30 seconds. So it's only a boat length every 30 seconds. Overall, the current is weaker today on Sunday. That's 25, almost 30 seconds. That's a little more than 2 boat lengths. So the current's slightly stronger here than at the windward mark. And then current is likely a little, we look how the race committee's hanging too. Do you see how the current's kind of going sideways? That's less than a minute. It's gone 4 boat lengths, so it's moving quite quickly. And that affects your, if you try to start right at the pin, good luck.